And we are live.
Yay!
Hi, everyone. So, let me see here. Of all days, also, I believe that we've got Terathon going on. So I don't even know how many people are going to be showing up. Of all days, also, I believe that we've got Terathon. Yep, there we go. And why is this not showing up? I'm not sure. But anyways, so today's topic with my live chat with Carla, my sister, is going to be about the Anunnaki. And I watched some good stuff yet again and read some stuff and just like names and stuff like that. So where do you want to start in this topic? And hi, everybody that's coming in. We're not seeing you yet.
Well, you asked me if I knew when they had been discovered, and that we could start there, at least, and go from. Hi, Johnny.
Hi, Johnny.
We could go from there as far as how they came to be public knowledge. So what I discovered is that in 1849. A British explorer found 14 Sumerian tablets dating back to 24 BC.
18?
And obviously no one knew how to interpret them. So it took a while from that point even to, for the stories to come alive.
So where I was thinking of starting also besides that, which I never even thought about doing that, that's perfect. I'm glad that, because I didn't even look at when they were discovered. So, hi, Jessica. Hi, Mooncrone. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Johnny.
Hi, everybody.
I've already done I've talked a couple of times about the Anunnaki. On the video that I did with the Witchy Wisdom Wednesdays, I talked about the fairies. There is a connection there as well. But I'm not going to bring that up today just because I did talk about it in that video. Also, I did another one. Oh, gosh. I think it was about aliens or something like that early on, like maybe 8 or 9 months ago. And I talked about, aliens throughout our history and yada, yada, yada. So if you want to look at here, but I've got like 4 pages of notes here.
Well, why don't you start with the story, sis, of like when maybe at the beginning of the creation of our DNA or our species, because that's what the tablets got to, was that they created us.
Well, what I have here is there's different names for the Anunnaki. There's Anunnaki in different spellings, and then there's Anunnaki, another Anunnaki, different spellings, another one that's Anuna, another one that's Ananji, and then there's more than that. And they were from the Middle East, roughly 8200 BC. So roughly 10,000 years ago. Okay.
But they came from Nibiru.
Well, yes, the Anunnaki are said to, well, this was according to Sitchin and his book. What was the name of the book? Divine Encounters. He says that they came from Nibiru, or at least that's what I've come across, Nibiru, which is on another planet. And he named it the 12th planet. Okay. And it is on a rotation also in our solar system. But unlike ours that revolves every, every year, theirs is every 3,600 years. It comes in by close to our sun. And when it comes in close to our sun, that's when it causes a whole bunch of upheaval, which I will get to later on in the story. There's other stuff that talks about the flood and why the flood happened and more into that. But So they were said to be gods, okay, that came in from Nibiru. And it was, oh gosh, 400,000 years ago, I believe. I'll tell you. I just got to find it. Because I'm kind of moving ahead here a little bit. I believe it was 400,000 years ago. Anyways, it was in the Middle East. The Sumerians, these are stories that come from the Sumerians, the Akkadians, the Assyrians, and the Babylonians, okay, which is in Mesopotamia. And they were considered the most powerful in the pantheon at that time, okay. The descendants, they were of An. Also another name is Anu, who was like
Anu.
spirit in the sky, right? And Ki or Kai, I'm not sure. That was the female version. It said God of heavens and goddess of earth. She was the goddess of earth. Let me get off of here. Sorry. There we go. Let's see. All right. Just making sure. I buffer a lot. Gonna try. Okay. So they were the descendants of An and Ki, which were also considered like the old gods. So their children, which was Enlil, was their child, okay? Their son. He is considered the oldest of the actual Anunnaki because his parents are not considered the Anunnaki. It's just their offspring that is considered the Anunnaki.
Say that one more time. Who was the oldest?
Enlil was the oldest of the Anunnaki.
Okay.
Anu and Ki, which are Enlil's parents,
Were not considered.
No.
Wow. Okay.
The Anunnaki was their offspring.
Okay. It's almost like the Nephilim and the old men of fame.
And it's also like the Titans. Giving birth to the Greek gods.
Yeah.
So then in another work called Inanna's Descent into the Netherworld. What are you seeing, Sis?
Mom says, hi there, beautiful people.
Oh, I'm not seeing it. Not yet. It's not coming up on my end yet. Hi, Mom. She talks about the 7 different judges of the underworld, which is Ki, which were the Anunnaki. Now we go forward just a little bit, and the gods that were the 7 gods, the Sumerians, were Inanna, which was, they were An, Enlil, Enki, Ninhursag, Nana, Utu, and Inanna. Those were the 7 that were considered part of like this judge.
I have to leave for 1 second.
Okay.
But I will be right back. Very,
Okay.
very sorry about this. But middle daughter is not understanding what's going on right now. So I'll be right back.
All right. So let's see. All right. So is everyone following me so far about the Anunnaki? About how they are aliens / gods, considered gods, that lived 8200 BC in the Middle East. So they are the oldest, the Sumerians are the oldest known civilization that had writing. Okay. And these stories come from like clay tablets, like Carla said, that were found in the 1800s. By somebody, I think she said Ecuador. I'm not sure. So they were the descendants of An and Ki. And let me bring her back up. Here she is again. You got to love your children.
Sorry. It's every time she kept trying to call in, it messed with the volume. I couldn't hear anything. Like, I gotta do something. All right. Sorry, sis.
No problem. It happens. That's live, right? So these gods were considered gods of the underworld. Okay. Or at least the 7 judges of the underworld. So then we go on to some Akkadian texts, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, also follow that portrayal. So during the Old Babylonian period, the Anunnaki were believed to be the chthonic, is what it's called, which literally means subterranean. Now, I'm pointing this out because later on we're going to get into another topic about a connection between the Anunnaki
and Antarctica
or reptilians.
Definitely.
So while the gods of the heavens were also known as, and I didn't know this until I did a little bit of research, the Igigi. Have you heard of the Igigi?
Yes. They came, and supposedly at the same time, they were the original slave workers, and they rebelled.
Yes. Well, the Igigi, there are other texts that show some Igigi were still also, they believe, not just Igigi, but also Sumerian. So now, or Anunnaki and Igigi. So they don't know if the Igigi were actually maybe offspring of the Anunnaki.
Yeah, I don't know the correlation either.
So I find that interesting that it was because of this big battle that they had with the Igigi that while another part of it, because Enlil and Enki are stepbrothers or half-brothers. I'm sorry, half-brothers. Enlil has a different mother than Enki. So while Enki was in a deep sleep, it said, which I'm guessing it was a stasis, some sort of stasis, Enki or Enlil had contacted his brother or his mother's brother or his brother's mother, if I can say it right, in order to get a hold of Enki because he was trying to take control. He wanted to, what did they call it? He wanted to become the chief god of the Sumerian pantheon. Okay. So he contacted his mother, Enlil's mom, Enki's mom, and said, please, because she could contact Enki while he was in his deep sleep, please tell him that I need his help. So then when he woke up, he was like, oh, I got this great idea. Let's create humanity. And the way that he created humanity was engineering it also with the blood of a fallen Sumerian god. Okay. As well as mixing that DNA with some of the animal habitats that were already on the earth. That's
like the rhesus monkey.
Created. Yeah, there you go. Like that. So, just a few other things here. It says Enlil cleaved heaven and earth. Oh. It also said that before Enlil was born, that the heavens and the earth were all one. When Enlil was born, Enlil actually separated with the help of his father, Anu, separated the heavens and the earth. So Enlil was taking the earth in one direction, and Anu or At, is it Anu? Yeah, Anu was taking the solar system in the other direction.
Hmm,
Isn't that
that's
interesting? Yeah. So also, and there's so much stuff I didn't know that I found out. They were thought to be human-like with extraordinary powers, but they were very large in size. So when you look back at like some of the pictures and stuff, even like in Egypt, yeah, and I'm going to get into that too. There is a definite connection between that. So they also had what they called on them, that they wore on their bodies, melum, which was a substance that it was said covered them in a terrifying splendor. And that when it was on people, or when people would see it and get close to it, it would cause an extreme tingling on their skin. And this is something that the Anunnaki had, that they would wear on them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because in the Bible that they couldn't look upon God's glory.
They also said that they were depicted wearing horned caps all the time. So you even think about Vikings. So you think about the pantheon, and there's also, I found correlations between Viking and between, who was it? Well, I know that there's correlations also with Egypt. They believe that that was taken over into Egypt. Like when you look at like the pharaohs, when they're depicted, the pharaohs were much larger than some of them that were in there, right? Like the people that were like their slaves or whatever.
Yeah, and where was it that the Viking gods, the
Valhalla?
yeah. Is it Valhalla? No, what was
Asgard?
Asgard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's other ones up here too. It also said that they sometimes had up to 7 sets of horns, and they were ox horns that they wore on their heads. And that they always had gold and silver ornaments sewn into like their armor or whatever that they wore. And so it was that also Inanna, which was one of them, she was associated with Venus. She was thought to be Venus. Utu was considered the sun. Nana was considered the moon. An was the stars of the equatorial sky, so like the equatorial sky. Enlil was the northern sky, and Enki was the southern sky.
Oh, wow. That's where you're getting the Titans and stuff from.
Yeah. So then, yes, they invented writing, the Sumerians, at least the oldest ones that we know of, that we have record of. Okay.
Right. It's because it is the oldest language thus far.
That we have discovered, correct.
We have discovered, yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had advanced knowledge of mathematics, science, and astronomy. And according to the tablets, the Anunnaki, or Ananji, were considered angels. That was the word, angels.
Yep.
So Enlil was the god of war, and his wife, Ninil, was the goddess who ruled over the land. Their son was Ninurta. These tablets were also the first time that they heard about the Garden of Eden. And it said that Ninlil, who is Enlil's wife, asked the Council of 7, who I talked about before, the 7 judges, to create what is called Eden, heavenly garden. The Anunnaki were also tied to the Watchers that were found in the book of Enoch.
Yep.
The Watchers were in charge of watching over the garden. that she had them create. So we are this, I mean, you see how this changes even the Bible?
Yeah, definitely.
So the book of Enoch. Did you know that Enoch was the grandfather of Noah?
Yes.
Enoch was the father of Lamech, and Lamech was the father of Noah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's other things. So like for instance, okay, so we're going to get back to the actual rotation of Nibiru. With Nibiru coming in every 3,600 years, okay? At this point, when it was getting ready to be coming here, they knew, the Anunnaki knew that it was going to cause problems and havoc for the humans that they had created. But because Enlil found the human beings to be so noisy, he wanted them all to perish. But Enki is the one who said, I'm going to warn somebody. And according to the, he warned, there's another name in here. Oh, Udnapishtim, according to these clay tablets, who is actually, that they said, he warned them to create a ark to take 2 of everything, which now you're getting into the Bible, right? And Noah.
Yeah.
That was actually Noah. So the Watchers, after that, they had warned them, because I guess what happens is every 3,600 years, when it comes around, what happens is it gets so close to the sun, and because Nibiru is like, what did it say? 2,600 times or 260 times larger than the Earth, something like that. It's like huge. Nibiru was huge. So it was still smaller than the sun, but because of its size, it had a major magnetic pull. So when it would come in, and I did watch a website where it showed like how it works in the solar system, how it would come in and its rotation along with the other planets. But when it would come in, it would actually cause so much havoc in our solar system, causing like volcanoes and floods and catastrophe, and causing like the polar caps to shift and everything else like that on the Earth. And they knew that was going to happen. But the reason why they came to Earth to begin with was because of mining gold.
Right.
Gold, I guess Nibiru, their planet was suffering something to do with its atmosphere. And in order to try to fix its atmosphere, they needed to mine gold. And that's where the pyramids and stuff like that came into play, because they actually created portals between Nibiru and the Earth. As they mined it, they would portal the gold to Nibiru. So when you think of like Stargate, right? Yeah. These are on clay tables.
And I'm an ancient alien, what do they call it, theorist? and there's been a couple episodes actually about the pyramids being like a battery or some type of a transport. So
yeah, exactly. You can whatever you want it to be. Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on that. That's why they created a workforce of people to mine the gold, is because they needed it in order to repair the atmosphere of their planet Nibiru. And the Great Flood, the reason that all came into play was because they knew that it was coming, and they didn't want to warn human beings because they thought that they were so noisy. And Enki went against his brother and told Noah, so that Noah could save humanity. And so I find that interesting. So let me shoot forward and let's see. Also now about the Watchers. The Watchers fell to earth in the form of angels who fathered the Nephilim, right? The correlating names in the Bible for these fallen watchers or angels were Azazel, Raphael, Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
That is very interesting.
Very interesting.
So you have to ask yourself, why did they not keep, like, because this information is like in the book of Enoch.
Yeah.
Why did they not release that information in the Bible? Why was it not included in the Bible? Maybe because it told a different story than what they wanted to portray.
Or the same reason the government isn't being truthful about aliens.
Yes.
I just had to say that. Truth. It's all about control. I mean, knowledge is power. So
we've got Watchers, angels, Anunnaki, aliens from a different planet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they began to intermingle with the indigenous people. And lo and behold, led a hybrid race that was called the Nephilim or the giants. The old men of fame, it says in the Bible.
Yep.
It talks about them in the actual Christian Bible being on the earth in those days in Genesis before the flood. And then it also in Deuteronomy and Joshua talks about the Nephilim also, or the giants being on the earth after those days, after the flood. Now, we also have something that I wanted to put in here. And if you want to look for those in the Bible, you can look under Genesis chapter 6. If you want to find that's before the flood, that's right around the flood, I think 6:3. And if you want to find it in the Bible after that, you can go to Deuteronomy, which was chapters 2 and 3, and Joshua chapter 17. Okay. Now, not to mention, the book of Giants, okay, which was not included in the Bible canon, but that's another one for you, a book of Giants that was in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
So a few other things that I want to put up here. Norse myth, they had Jotunheim, which was considered and I'm sure I'm not pronouncing these properly. It was called the land of the giants. And there was different kinds of giants. They called them Jodam, Idom, and fire giants also. In Hindu texts, there was Daityas or Daityas that fought against their half-brothers because of jealousy, that were giants. In Greek texts, giants named Ge and Tartarus, thrown to earth by the help of Hercules, and that laid buried under Mount Etna in Italy. So we see this in many different areas. There were accounts of giants in history, such as like Charlemagne, France. He was believed to be, or records show that he was 8 feet tall. Another guy, John Middleton, was 9 feet 3 inches. And in 1895, another, a magazine by the name of the British Strand magazine posted a photo of a grave that uncovered in Ireland a person that stood 12 feet 2 inches tall. And then all of a sudden, and I've talked about this before, these just disappeared. There was another show on, it was either the History Channel or A&E or something like that. And it was like two brothers that were they were in search of giants, and they started looking under the like mounds, right? The mounds, and they were finding like burial sites. And then they would contact the people that those mounds were on, like private land, and they had history and they had clippings, newspaper clippings of these giants and these skulls, and showing them like in the Smithsonian. And then all of a sudden they just disappeared.
Yep.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what people are saying. Let's see. The Bible as we know it was put together to control. Absolutely. Yep. People have to be kept in their place. Yep. At least that's what they think, right? If you look back and connect the dots, there were way too many similarities in mythology to be coincidence. Absolutely.
Yes.
I agree. And oddity enough, you can tie things that in the Bible to all those coincidences. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, do these sound like any other stories that you know of? Oh, like the Ajiji and the Anunnaki, angels, demons,
The war in heaven.
God, Lucifer, Zeus and Hades, or the Titans and Zeus,
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter and Pluto, if it's Roman. So, hell, like in the Bible, hell is that place, right? Well,
Where the reptilians live.
Where the what?
Where the reptilians live.
Well, Hel is also the name of a Norse goddess of the dead, who is also the daughter of Loki.
Oh, okay.
She ruled over the underworld and Niflheim. In Norse mythology, Odin, the king of Asir gods, was one of 3 brothers that was responsible for taking down the Ymir, who is regarded as the original god and source of the earth. So another story. So now, like in Greek, you have Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, right? Who like overthrew the Titans, right? They're the older gods. And that's what the Anunnaki were looked at, like they were the younger gods. And then the other ones, An or Anu and Ki, were the older gods. It's like in every single one of the stories. And the parent of An, one of them was Kishar, I believe. Yeah, Kishar and Anshar.
Okay, so if the Anunnaki, created us, who created them? Who is Anu and Kai? Who are they? The Anshar? Is that what you?
Well,
Corey Good talks about?
See, I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know.
I think there's a direct correlation, though. I think that they are descendants. And that's why their whole people are called the Anshar. And they are subterranean. Right?
Yeah.
Which I find interesting. But the parents were Kishar and Anshar of Anu.
So in your research, did you find anything that said that they were possibly coming back?
Yes, I did. I was going to get to that. That's why the whole point of the circulation, the rotation of Nibiru.
Okay.
Yeah. So as we move on, Nibiru, which is the 12th planet, it says our creators come from another planet that enters our solar system every 3,600 years. The Nephilim were called the Son of God, colonized Earth, that's what it said, 400,000 years ago. Nibiru was suffering so that this race came to Earth to mine gold to help repair their atmosphere. They created portals on Earth, like I was saying, that were highly magnetized areas to send their gold and minerals back to Nibiru in order to help repair their atmosphere. Our race was created with native Earth animals and the Anunnaki, which was the god that they used was There's my big mouth. The god was, I have it somewhere. I'll get to it. But it was his blood. After the battle, with the Ajiji, this god had died, and they used his blood in order to make the human race, because they thought that the human race would be much more. And then they left and said that they would return. They promised that they would return. They did not tell them about the flood coming up. It was only Enki who told Noah, or at least the counterpart, Utnapishtim, who is Noah, told him about it so that he could make an ark and all that. So the year that they are supposed to be, there were other, bye mom, there were other time periods that they thought that they were coming back, or that Nibiru was coming back, or that the Anunnaki was coming back. But the new projected time is 2022.
Oh,
Yeah.
now where did you read that it was possibly 2022? Was that all? Was it like in a tablet prophesized or something, or?
No. I think that was based off of projections about the rotation of Nibiru.
Okay, gotcha.
Not from the tablets. They just said that they were going to come back. They promised that they would come back, and they left.
And so that's
to rule the planet. Yes.
I gotcha. Which does make sense.
Yeah. And let's see. Another bit that's very interesting is Marduk is one of the popular names that comes up for the Ajiji. They were also talked about that they were gods, but they were considered lesser gods than the Anunnaki, which makes me think that they were just another type of alien, another alien life form, and that they were being controlled by the Anunnaki as a slave race. And after they rebelled, that's when they made the humans. But Marduk was also considered, who, by the way, was the son of Enki and his wife, Damkina. Marduk was considered a Gigi. That's also why they believe sometimes that the Gigi could have also been like the offspring, or maybe like what you would consider like a demigod, like Hercules. Okay. But he was the king of, or he was the patron god of Babylonia. And he was also known as, take a wild guess what you think that he was known as.
Oh, Hercules?
No, Marduk.
Oh.
The Avenger. Just like the Avengers.
Wow.
He was known as the Avenger. In a book called The Code of Hammurabi, it states that Marduk was elevated by the Anunnaki from the ranks of the Ajiji. Ajiji / possibly Nephilim / possibly like demigods. Other gods that also may have been associated with the Ajiji and the Anunnaki was, another one was Ishtar, which I don't know a whole lot about that particular, but I believe that's like Indian. And there were other ones, there was other names. So then we get on to the reptilians, the reptilian race. There are some old carvings. It's like a discussion between different people. Some believe that the reptilians are the same as the Anunnaki. Other ones believe that they're not, or maybe that they were like one part of Anunnaki, and Anunnaki meant more than one particular type of alien form. right? That they were just aliens or gods. But they believed that because there were pictures also showing the Anunnaki as humanoid, and they had a name for that, which is what people automatically do sometimes to try to relate a little bit more. So they'll give them like a human appearance, or there was other ones that looked like they were like lizard people. Another lady, Helena Blavatsky, wrote a book called The Sacred Doctrine. From that, she said that dragon men once ruled the land of Lemuria. The fallen or the sunken island of Lemuria. And then, of course, we have, to me, very close to Marduk. Oh, what was the name of the French president? Oh, yeah, I don't know. But they also, depending on who you talk to, they are uncertain about Marduk also, because they said that they thought Marduk could have also been a planet. Now, if you remember, it was Corey Good that talked about this huge battle that happened between like the Atlanteans, which were on Earth, or which were on Mars, and I think the planet was Marduk, and that the planet was destroyed. And that's what happened. That's why Mars was like it was, and that you could see all the destruction. And it was from that parts of Earth, or people that were like refugees from that, were inside of the moon, and the moon came to the Earth. Do you remember that in the stories?
Yeah, I mean, kinda, yeah. I remember him thinking about all of that.
I mean, there's so much. Oh my God. So there's also a couple of books that you can research. And after this, I'm going to put a couple of different websites that you can go and check out information as well. But we have Eric Van Daniken, who wrote Chariot of the Gods.
Yeah.
Who talked about this, and he wrote that in 1968. Then there's Zachariah Sitchin, who wrote Divine Encounters, as well as many other things that you can go and check out. He's got quite a few books on Amazon, actually. I was checking earlier. So now there's also this, do you believe that the Anunnaki were in fact the reptilians? Because according to some of the things that they were saying was, some say yes, some say no. There are some depictions where they look like lizard people, and then there's some that show them more like humanoid. But according to like David Icke, he says yes, the Anunnaki are the reptilian race, that they are fourth dimensional beings, and that they're here for gold. But the gold that they also take is not just for their not atmosphere like the Anunnaki, but it actually helps their like nervous system so that they can shape shift.
Yep. That's what I heard, that they're shapeshifters.
Right. Which would also show the depictions also of the crocodile people or reptilian people, as well as the humanoids, right?
Well, think about this. When you were describing that, I keep thinking of episodes of Ancient Aliens where they're showing, you know, pictures on the pyramids and stuff of reptilian-looking entities, or, you know, gods that were worshipped. Also, bird-like, like the blue avian. Okay, so now, and then if you look at your legends of dragons, and then you also find the stories that go back about the dinosaurs that are linked to birds. Mm-hmm. Then you have birds that can split their own tongue and talk.
Mhm.
So you have reptilians and birds that are actually linked together. Hello, shapeshifter.
Well, that's something I didn't put on here. But yeah, it was either bird-like, yep,
Mm-hmm.
or human, or like lizard people. And she said it was
Dragons,
dragon men.
reptiles that could fly, they could talk.
She said it was dragon men that were in the secret doctrine from the continent of Lemuria. Dragon men.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The blue avians.
Yep.
Blue avians was like Ra.
Yeah.
And the crocodile god was like Sobek in Egypt. Pretty wild, huh?
Yes, very.
So let's hear what you guys have to say. After hearing all that, have you guys done research? What do you think? Do you think that the Anunnaki and the reptilians are the same? Do you think that they're shapeshifters? Do you think that they're among us? I can tell you, and I didn't put it on here, but I can tell you some of the things, because as I'm reading it, I'm just like, oh my God, that's just like so hard for me to fathom. It's really hard for me to take it in. But they were saying like certain people, like, oh, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton,
Yeah.
Beyonce, who are some of the other ones? Lady Gaga.
Well, when I first started looking into this, it's been a long time. But what they found a lot of I don't know if you want to old artifacts and in Ecuador, and one of them that they found in particular was like a pyramid, like a little I don't know, a little structure, and had a little eye on top, just like our money.
Yes.
Okay, so even if those people that you mentioned are not reptilian, I believe that they could be maybe influenced by that somehow, like maybe going back to the video we discussed 2 weeks ago, the Out of Shadows, where we were talking about quote unquote like a cabal or a deep state.
Mooncrone says that that's a Masonic symbol.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah, we're worshiping something, or
yeah,
they are.
Shapeshifters, yes, and quite the rabbit hole. Yeah. Don't most, if not all, indigenous tribes have stories of shapeshifters.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there something right now on TV called Skinwalker Ranch?
Yes.
And isn't that about shapeshifters?
Yeah. Wolf-like creatures or whatever. Yeah.
Bigfoot. We've talked about Bigfoot before. Could Bigfoot also be associated with the Watchers that were looking over the Garden of Eden?
I've always thought that. And in fact, I think it might have been Corey Good that was saying like mermaids, Bigfoot, they're all just another form of an alien. Doesn't mean, but they've always been here. They're
And
just not, yeah.
Yeah,
Able to
Skinwalker
use
Ranch.
those.
Oh,
Yep.
there's an, okay, paranormal activity at Skinwalker Ranch. Hi, Thomas. Yeah. So I think that that's interesting. I believe Bigfoot is interdimensional, so could be a watcher. Yes. That's why there's not a whole lot of evidence, because it can go back into, and they said that the reptilians were fourth dimensional, which means the fourth dimension, people that are on the fourth dimension, according to this, can come in and see us. We can't see them, but they can see us, and they can manipulate us on this realm. And according to Corey Good, the reptilians, they're all like major frontal lobe, and they communicate through telepathic means. He said he had a meeting once with a royal, which was like 14 feet tall and albino reptilian. And immediately when he came into contact with it, he said it was almost like a rape of his mind, because it just grabbed right a hold of his mind and just like, just like took control. He said it was like one of the worst things ever. I was looking for this live and it only just showed up. I was looking forward to it. I'm sorry. Not only are there shapeshifters at Skinwalker Ranch, but there have been many, many UFO sightings there as well. I need to watch that. I've seen just bits and pieces of it, but I haven't actually watched it.
Yep. Same.
Very interesting.
I want to go there.
Where is that at? Where is Skinwalker Ranch?
Is it Utah? No.
Is it Arizona, maybe?
I don't remember.
Or New Mexico?
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I wondered if Bigfoot was interdimensional, because you can't find evidence of their homes or hunting, etc. Also, because they show up blurry on photos. So are other blurry cryptids similar? Maybe. I mean, there's also legend of them. You've got Bigfoot, you've got Sasquatch, you've got Yeti, depending on where it is in, even the Himalayan mountains,
Yep.
It is Utah, you believe? Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was, but I couldn't remember.
Okay.
They have a special actually about it on Hulu. So I have to check it out.
Yeah. Is this the first season? This just started, didn't it? The Skinwalker Ranch thing?
I think so. Well, there's been stuff on it for a while, but I don't know if that particular one on Hulu is like in its first season.
On the History Channel. Okay, thank you. I find it all very, very interesting. I find the similarities between the stories, the origin stories, and how the oldest known written language that we have is the Sumerian. So all these other stories that come after that from different cultures stem from, it seems like they stem from there. And if that's the case, it means that either those gods went to those different places, or things were not as primitive as we were led to believe they were, that primitive, where people didn't have contact from continent to continent,
Right.
And Enki was considered God over the land and the water, which I find interesting, because like even there were earlier depictions of like Jesus, like the fish, and older stories from different cultures about the first gods coming out of like the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And being like half man and half fish.
So like with a mermaid tail or a serpent tail.
Yeah.
Or fish tail.
Fish tail. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first season. Okay. All right, cool. Hi, Maria. The Tibetans are certain that the Yeti exists. They find its footprints regularly. Yeah, I am sure it. Here's the thing for me, and I've said this before. When you have millions of people stating like, UFO encounters or Yeti encounters or stuff like that, and maybe millions is not the right thing. I'm just thinking over the centuries, because these stories go back a long, long time. you know, and then you have reputable people, even like Teddy Roosevelt said he came across a Yeti and he was the president, you know, or came across the Bigfoot. I find that either you choose not to believe it if you've not had, you know, a personal encounter. What are you doing, sis?
Bubby got the door open.
Oh, is he coming to say hi to all of us?
I think he wants to come say hi.
Yeah, let him come say hi.
You want to come say hi, honey?
Well, hey there, cutie.
Look in there. See? In there.
Hi, honey. What you doing? What's Grandma doing? So yeah, this was
This is Liam. I love you,
Cutie Pie. Who's grumpy? He can be Mr. Grumpy, but he's so cute even when he's grumpy.
Oh yeah.
Is it Herbert Hoover that was supposed to have met with aliens? Oh, no. Check this out. I just read this today. Eisenhower made, according to what I read, a pact with the gray aliens in exchange for technology, in exchange for allowing them to abduct people.
Wow.
Yeah. And his family doesn't deny it. They readily admit to it. It's Eisenhower. Yeah. And his granddaughter, Laura Eisenhower is on here. She's one of the ladies that I watch, actually. Yeah. But he also warned about the military complex. Yeah, a lot of pre-Christian civilizations have oral traditions, stories told around campfires, etc. So we're classed as primitive, but there is so much more going on with them. Yeah. Made a deal with them. Yep. I heard that. That was Eisenhower. Around the time it was WW2 and Area 51. Yep. Yes. Laura Eisenhower is Eisenhower's granddaughter, I believe.
I didn't even know that.
Yes.
And I followed her. Wow.
She's talked about the stories that were passed in her family. Yeah.
Wow.
When I watched that that Cosmic Disclosure, I can't remember the actual name of it, and that it was done at a ranch, that was Corey Good and David Wilcock and all that. There was another lady that was there, and she talked about reptilians, and that her husband, who was in the military or whatever, actually worked with the reptilians and knew some of them.
Wow.
I mean, wow.
Mm-hmm.
There's also apparently a base at the South Pole that the Germans set up during World War II. Yes. Then the USA military took it over, and ships regularly disappear to visit it. What's going on there? No one knows. Well, that's one of the stories that I had talked about previously on here, about talking about this, and it's, I believe, called Project High Jump, and it was General Byrd, and this was in, I believe, the 40s or 50s, had gone on a mission to Antarctica. And when he came back months later, he said that there was an advanced civilization that was in Antarctica, and their spacecraft was so advanced that it could fly from pole to pole within a matter of seconds. And then it was not long after that all of the spaceships or UFOs flew over the White House. Who do you think? So who is controlling the who do you think? I can tell you what I think. Honestly, I do think that it is reptilians. Whether reptilians or Anunnaki, I don't know. I believe that it could be Anunnaki. or a form of, I think Anunnaki is more of like a broad term for aliens, or what people would consider angels, just like there's different realms of angels, okay, that were looked at as God. The Anunnaki could have been angels, and Anu and Ki, or their parents, Ishar and Kishar, or Kishar and Anshar, could have been the actual gods that they were talking about. I don't know. But I believe that the deep state that is being, what people are talking about, is actually reptilians. And then having humans and or hybrids doing their bidding on this end. That's what I personally think from what I have read and what I've seen. I think the aliens are in control, and they have the world's government, yes, control the general population. Yes. Let me see. I don't think they were primitive. I think they were far more advanced than we are. Yes. When the Library of Alexandria was burned, we lost all of that information. It set us back. And see, I don't think we actually did lose all that information. I think that they got that information. And I think it's probably stored under the Vatican, which is a massive library that a lot of people don't even, including myself, but the stories that I've heard, it's just massive. And plus, if they have somebody on their side that's the deep state, that they know about like time travel and stuff like that, they would have known how to get that information, you know, transferred over. That's just, I don't think it's really gone. Let me see. Someone is definitely driving the agenda. Yes. I just saw on Ancient Aliens that there is one of the former prime ministers that is now fighting for the truth to be told. Yes, there was a defense, somebody that was part of the defense in Canada, I believe, that came forward quite a few years ago talking about that the governments have been working with aliens all along. And he was a defense secretary, I believe. There is a book coming out that talks about 82 different alien races being here, having been here. Not sure if it's any good. Oh, that sounds interesting. What admiral was Admiral Byrd, the Hollow Earth man? I thought that was the North Pole, but cool. The South Pole base and Hollow Earth are connected. That's interesting. Admiral Byrd was the South Pole, I believe. I believe it was Antarctica. And Dr. Michael Salla wrote a book about it. So definitely check that out, about all that.
Yeah, you can actually look up Hollow Earth on Google, and Wikipedia actually, I think, has a, they say it's fictional, but a map.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
I believe that time travel is possible. Absolutely. Thank you, Lady Knight. I'll have to check that out. She put a link for that book, I believe. There have been manuscripts lost throughout time after Alexandria burning too. There was a lot lost here in England with the dissolution of the monasteries. Yeah. See, the thing is, why don't we have access to that? And I believe, honestly, this is just me, but I believe that, and when I say Catholicism or Catholic, when I'm talking about these kind of things, I'm not talking about the people that are Catholic. I'm talking about the higher ups that have that kind of privy. Just like certain people in government probably don't really have that privy. I'm not saying all government people are corrupt, and there's certain people in all these facets. I mean, I find funny that even in these stories of the Anunnaki, there is 7 that are judges. Have you ever heard of the Council of 7? Even in modern days, like Illuminati Council of 7. So the 7 families, there's just too many. I don't know. It's just weird. Probably both. The book is coming out in January. Okay.
Yeah, what's going on at at the castle, I heard something. I kind of skimmed over it. That the queen left the castle and someone else is living there.
I haven't heard that. Has anyone heard that? I haven't talked about the royals, but there are many that say that reptilians, the bloodline, hybrids, whatever, it runs through the royal family, that bloodline. Yeah.
Okay, that's what that is. People, they see something and they run with it. And talking back to the queen, there was some article, I didn't open it, but it said, "Where's the queen? Is somebody else living there?" So I thought I'd ask.
Well, the inquiring minds want to know. Is that the Inquirer?
Yeah.
There's so much stuff out there. You don't know what to believe anymore. I mean, so much stuff is fabricated and agendas pushed. There were actually lots. Where am I going? The hierarchy. Have you already mentioned the royals? Yeah. Hi, Brandy. She is supposed to be in quarantine for safety. Okay. The royals, I was going to lead on to them from my comment on the dissolution of the monasteries. Yeah. The queen is living at her Scottish estate, I believe. What is that, Balmoral? I think. They looked up the palace and all the windows are closed from the inside. Looks like barricaded. The royal logo at the gate is gone. The one guard is a fake doll. Oh my gosh. See,
yeah, I remember it was part of it that it was all boarded up. That's why, barricaded or whatever, and the logo was gone. The crest.
Yeah, what do you guys think that's about with Prince Harry and Meghan? Totally getting out of the family. I think there's more to it than just that they didn't feel like they could be free, from the bull crap of being royal.
Right.
I think that there's more going on. Just, everything that happened with like Jeffrey Epstein and Philip's association with that and Andrew's association with that, along with many other like Clinton and
going back to you were talking about the actors and some of those famous musicians being reptilian. I've also heard that link to the queen and the royal family. So
absolutely all the same bloodline. As a matter of fact, there was this young girl a couple of years ago that tracked all of the genealogy between all of the presidents and and the royal family. They were all related except for one person. You know who that one person was?
Trump.
Donald Trump. Yep. That they were all related, all same bloodline, cousins, what have you. Be some connection with the royals in Canada, more than just Prince Harry from the fort. Oh, wait a minute. Harry moving there. Yeah, maybe. Well, be careful, sweetie. I take it your husband's driving, Brandy. Because if you're texting and I would say be really careful. I think Meghan really wants to be Hollywood royalty, not public servant. Yeah. Yup. That's all weird with the palace being boarded up. Have a good one, Cindy. We're not going to be on here much longer anyways. This was really a lot of fun. I really liked looking at all of the new information that I had no idea about with the Anunnaki. Seriously. Some of it I had looked up, but some of the other stuff like the Council of Seven or the Seven Judges and what each one of them signified, like the sun and the moon and the stars, North Stars, sun, that's really cool.
And going back to what we, at the very beginning of looking into the Anunnaki, I watched a very interesting video on them by a channel called The Fifth Kind, the Universe Inside You. take that
Oh,
back.
okay.
And it was they the Anunnaki created a slave race, and one of the words used in the transcript was Avad, A-V-O-D, which was originally meant work for. So the slave race was meant to work for. Now, this same word was also found in early translations from Old Testament. So the word avad, which was originally meant work for, was translated into worship.
Yes.
And I just thought that was like mind blowing.
How friggin' interesting. And how
so
appropriate for that kind of a translation, right?
Yes, that it was misconstrued because, and it's almost like it was put into our DNA
To worship.
just to work for worship. It's like we're programmed.
Says there, Maria says that there is a really weird story going around that claims Angie Merkel is Adolf's daughter and that Angie is Barry's mom. That really is nonsense. What? Have you heard about the yearly meeting that they have with a lot of the male world leaders, celebrities, and such that is on a private island, I think in New York? That island, I believe, was the island that Jeffrey Epstein owned, right? Are we talking about that island?
It's possible.
That they would call like Sex Island, and that he was a, ringleader, so to speak. Interest with Abud, probably Adolf. Yeah. All right. So what do you guys think for the next Sunday? Not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after that, which would be, let me see here really quick. The 14th, July 14th, or June 14th. I'm jumping a month ahead. What kind of subjects do you guys want to have us talk about?
Before you go on to that, I do want to mention this was just a theory that I have, and we don't really need to do a chat on it, but it's about the Anunnaki, and it's about the slave race, and the fact that in the stories they talked about taking their own DNA and mixing it with the animals, the rhesus monkey in particular, and people with positive or negative blood. The positive meaning that it has the same protein as the rhesus monkey, and those with the negative not having it.
Oh.
And then going back to who's actually programmed to work for, or
you know what that just made me think of, sis?
The difference between those that have a natural given instinct to want to be spiritual, worship God, and those that just don't.
Wow.
I'm just curious.
Why would there be two different, the Ajiji, there's like no recollection of what happened to the Ajiji, right?
Yeah, that is true.
So what if the Ajiji were the ones that have no Rhesus monkey, no RH negative factor, and the humans were the ones that have the RH factor?
So that's how you would know who exactly your DNA comes
But
from.
that just shows how much everything is mixed now, because I am a positive and my daughter is a negative. Bailey's O negative.
Yeah.
Because I believe Jim is negative. Either that or it comes from later, or earlier up, but I think it's because Jim is negative.
I just thought that was really interesting, knowing that they created us specifically, according to the stories, to work for them.
Yeah.
And then, some people have the positive DNA string or whatever strain for the same proteins that's found in the rhesus monkey. And then the being negative means that they don't. So my theory is does that kind of, maybe ask your friends, are you positive or negative, and what do you believe?
Well, my son is, Tyler is the same blood as me. It's Bailey that's like dad.
So, but what I'm wondering is are those that have the positive, are they more prone to be like believe in God kind of, and then those that don't? I'm just
I don't know, because I don't know, because Jim is atheist and he doesn't have the Reese's monkey.
Right. So I'm just curious, because there's a girl that I work with that is AB negative, and she's like, I don't believe in God. I'm thinking
that's what Jim is, AB negative.
I'm just wondering. It is kind of,
which is also the rarest, and he's also a redhead.
So not everyone has the RH factor, exactly. So is that directly linked to, somebody, the need to feel, to worship, to work for, or whatever, to wanting to believe in God?
With the RH, not everyone has the RH factor, exactly. The blood mostly comes from the dad. My sister and I have the same blood type, and we couldn't be more different. She is so fast asleep, and hi, Mom. Mom's back.
Welcome back, Mom. Yeah, I don't know. It was just something that I thought maybe if I could just go out and actually had the time to ask people, are you,
I mean, that's interesting. That's maybe something.
So do you believe in God or don't you? Do you believe in something or don't you?
I was going to say that might be something that we can test out, everybody here,
and just see what we come up with.
Ask the people, because I know that Bailey is O negative and she's also atheist. Although Tyler is O positive like me, and he's atheist. He doesn't believe in any of that either.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could just be, it's one of those, I'm theorizing, and it might not even be anything to it.
A few of the things I will take note or will say that I have heard, and I don't know how true this is, but that giants and that bloodline, they believe, also had the red hair, which was also linked with like the fairy realm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the giants, that blood, right? So like a hybrid kind of thing. And also I've heard that negative bloodline, and Jim is negative, and also, and the height, being tall. He's tall and he's a redhead. So maybe he's got giant blood in him or something. Who knows, right?
Yeah, the RH factor, I believe, is the same protein that is found in the rhesus monkey. So I believe that whether you're O positive or O negative, I'm not positive, but I think that's what it means. O negative means that you have that.
It means that you don't. It means your RH, the Reese's, whatever it's called, you don't have it if you're negative. If you are positive, you have it. Right.
That's what I mean. That's what I think that means.
Yes.
So the RH factor is, you only have the RH factor if you're positive, and then negative means that you don't.
Correct. That's exactly what that means. Because when I was taking all the blood tests for all of us, that's what I was researching it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Negative is the absence of it. My man is tall and has a red beard, but dirty blonde hair. Yeah. I mean, Jim is like kind of dirty blonde, but when he was little, his hair was flaming red, and his mother had flaming red hair. Yeah. And he's tall, which is also kind of funny because his dad was, how tall would you say? Paul was, like 5'9", maybe, and Jim's
Yeah.
6'1". He's the tallest of all of them. We said, was he the milkman's or what?
I'm O positive, and I believe in a higher power.
Yeah. Does everybody know what they are in here? Mom, I think you're O positive too, right? And we all believe in a higher power. Yeah, Misty's tall and a redhead because her mom was naturally a redhead and she was tall. Right? I wonder what her. And Bailey's very gingery. Yeah. And she's even got like the blotchy skin a little bit sometimes.
Isn't that interesting? A lot of O positive. That's interesting. That's interesting in itself. Because
that's why we believe, because it was.
I know, it's like that mind. We're ready to delve into anything. Let's figure it out, you know?
Yeah, but I think there's something to be said between dirty blonde and red hair. It's like they're like really close. I seen Emma sometimes, like when she would go out in the sun, her hair looked reddish or gingery. So, and yeah, Misty's was bright red though. I mean, bright red. Or is. Yeah. I don't know. It's very interesting. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, topics for on the 14th. And no, that's not Father's Day. Father's Day is on the 21st. So, not the same. So, 1 week before that, before Father's Day. So, Carla, give me an idea. Everyone in here, give us an idea what you want to see. My grandma's mom was a ginger with freckles. I at least got the freckles from them, like my mom, grandma, and uncle. My mom has a lot of freckles, and so does Bailey. Jim does too. I don't know what blood type I am. I seem to remember it was a quite common type. Okay. It's interesting that O positive is known as the universal donor. No, the universal donor is O negative.
Right. We can give to all the blood types that have the positive rhesus or the positive RH factor.
Right, but Bailey is the universal donor, being an O negative.
Right. Yeah, she can give the positive or negative of all blood types.
She can only get O negative from somebody else.
Right, and O positive can only give to all the blood types that have the positive RH factor.
Yes. Yep. Always, in general, is also a highly wanted donor. Yeah. It does get confusing, but
it does, because I didn't know. I used to think the same thing.
Yeah. I had to research the whole thing. I mean, when I was testing it all, because I still got to test Jim, but I know he's a negative something. I believe the last time we looked, he was an RH negative, AB negative, but I don't remember exactly. So we got to test him. And I got the little test kits. You can get them right from Amazon. $7 a piece, $7, I think, for 4 of them, something like that. A positive or O positive and A positive are the most common types. So you want to talk about hollow earth?
That's great. Yeah, I'm all in on that. Yeah, that sounds great.
I'm good with that. What does everyone else think? I mean, it's kind of all into the same. I mean, well, there's other stories from all over the place. AB negative is the rarest, I believe. That is correct. AB negative is the rarest. Okay.
Yeah, and I'd really like to see this screen split 4 ways. So,
yeah, come join us, people. Come on, man.
Thomas has been wanting to, right? Let's get in on that.
He's done a whole lot on screen, but I mean, you just gotta get your hands dirty, get in there.
Yeah.
What about you, Maria? Come on, you know you want to.
Uh-huh.
You know you want to. So if your hubby has it, he should hold on to his organs. Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
my daughter could be a universal donor for him because she's A negative or O negative. So she's a universal donor for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So she is the one that we really got to guard real good. And it is also said, and I don't know how true this is, but it is said that Rh negative cannot be cloned. Only the positive ones can be cloned. So
That
what's
is
up with
correct.
that?
And actually, I believe it was O negative is the one that they said had a alien to this earth strand of DNA.
So how does that work? Because I don't think Jim is an O. I think he's an AB negative. And I'm the O. And she got the O from me and the negative from him.
I don't know. Maybe it's just O in general.
Maybe we're just all damn hybrids, right? At this point, we're so saturated, right? Not be up to it, but I would. All right. Well, this is in a couple of weeks. Same time, you guys, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be discussing the Hello Earth. Ooh, very cool. I'm a bit nervous about lives, and I'm not sure how my internet holds out for lives. I need to test that. Well, if you want, we can do it something simple like this. Next, on the 14th, we can start it at, let's say, 2 o'clock or 2:30, but we'll say 2 o'clock. And the 4 of us can do it private for a little bit to make sure that it's even something that you guys can do. And if you feel comfortable, and if not, then it'll just be Carla and I that go live. It's up to you completely. No pressure. You don't have to. It's just us anyways. It's probably usually the same people that always come anyways.
Yeah.
I had paid more attention to this in biology. And the negative should be healthier since the blood doesn't have any thingies for viruses to hold on to. Any thingies? Cute.
Yeah.
I swear that's how we talk. Those thingies.
That is for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. It's been an hour and a half. This was pretty good. Oh, my camera's doing some funky stuff. Well, I got to get an external mic, so I could try that, given that my fan of the Mac will start up as soon as I go live. Okay. DNA fascinates me. Well, we'll just try it. I'll send you guys the link also. I think I'm friends with both of you on Facebook, so I can just send you the links that way, right through your messenger. And if you want to try it, you can try it. If you don't feel like going live, then you don't have to go live. It's all good. So I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their weekend. Thank you for joining us. And we're sending you lots of love. Bye-bye.